OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is heading to the White House today to talk artificial intelligence. His meetings with some top advisors to the president follow his talks with lawmakers on Capitol Hill yesterday, and it comes as Altman faces growing calls to slow down the pace of AI progress after one of his company's new models hacked an outside business. Joining us this morning to discuss is CBS News senior business and tech correspondent Ling. Always good to have you on set. So who is he going to be meeting with? What do we know about some of the topics of discussion?
Yeah, Sam Altman is no stranger to the White House, right? And so he is in Washington on day 2. He met with some folks and senators on Capitol Hill yesterday, and then he'll be sitting down with White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, in addition to the Commerce Secretary, the Treasury Secretary, the Office of Science and Technology Policy, and other executives who have, touch points or influence on AI policy. We expect those meetings to happen throughout today, and this is all coming ahead of the August 1st deadline that the president has set per this executive order that we covered. We saw him sign that a couple of months ago in June, and it lays out 60 days for these AI companies as well as agencies to figure out how they're going to evaluate models, their power, their influence as ahead of their potential release.
So yesterday we talked about this new petition from more than 1,200 AI employees. They want to slow down the pace of progress. It felt to me, I don't know, it was sort of like you work at these companies, you are developing the technology and the tools, but then you're also saying, hey, we want to slow down what we're doing. I don't know, something didn't sit well with me. What are you hearing about how people are reacting to this warning?
There's a sense of a need for more involvement from both international parties and nation states, I guess governments, like including the U.S. government. And so I take your point, and I think that irony is not lost on anyone, that these are employees who are signing these types of letters or petitions who are about to become very wealthy potentially from major IPOs, their companies going public. And so the pace of development is something that has been the biggest point of discussion between, say, OpenAI, Anthropic, and the U.S. government. And you'll remember back in February into March, the Department of Defense said that they wanted full access to Anthropic's AI. They said no. Then you had that supply chain designation and all of that playing out. So there's all of these different pushes and pulls about how this should be regulated. But ultimately, right now, if you really look at the reality of the situation, it is on these tech companies to figure that out and to pace it. Because these letters aren't necessarily going to do a lot if you have to be profitable, you want to show your potential shareholders down the road how you can perform as a company, and it's very lucrative. So, the safety issue is a priority, says Sam Altman and Dario Amodei, but it remains to be seen how it's actually going to work itself out. Because how do you decide who gets to move faster and innovate in a race with China when you also, have to meet these high expectations?
Well, also when you think about international folks, countries working together, because that's worked so well in the past.
Yeah, the track
with the
record
Model UN and NATO.
Yes.
It's great track record.
But I think that's a very fair point to bring up, because when it comes to social media, which is the most recent example we have, there has been very it's been absent regulation and any sort of coordination here in the United States. Europe is doing it, but it's taken a long time, even on the social media front. So we'll stay on this, but it'll be interesting to see how the White House responds out of these meetings and what they're actually able to accomplish versus what empty promises might be made on both sides.
Yeah. All right,
Really
Ling, appreciate you.
Thanks, Ling. Appreciate it.